Welcome to the Hashimoto's Doctor podcast. You're now part of a growing community of people determined to take their health back through education and self-empowerment. But because of the healthcare system today, we don't have access to the types of healthcare that we want. So we have to do things differently. We've got to do things smarter, and we do that by becoming our own advocates. This podcast will give you the perspective and thoughts of one of the world's leading Hashimoto's doctors. So let's get started. Hey guys, Dr. Shook here. I hope you're doing well today. Today I want to talk to you guys about one aspect of your body chemistry that is absolutely critical if you're trying to improve any type of hormonal imbalance. Okay? This applies to someone. It doesn't matter if you have a young female who's starting their menstrual cycle, or if you're talking about a menstruating female, or someone that's perimenopausal, or a man that is experiencing problems with testosterone, or sometimes it's called andropause. These are all problems that this particular issue relates to and has a direct impact upon, and that is your blood sugar. Your blood sugar absolutely 100% has to be addressed if you want to have any hope of improving these types of endocrine or hormonal imbalances. And really, what it comes down to is that blood sugar fluctuations have a profound impact on your adrenal hormones. And they also, if they fluctuate up and down, the surges of insulin increase enzyme activity, which cause conversion of some of these hormones into less desirable forms. So fluctuations in blood sugar just wreak havoc on your adrenal gland function and on your sex hormone production, or your ability to produce those hormones. So you'll see things like high blood sugar resulting in higher insulin, causing women to increase an enzyme in their body called 17-20-lyase. Okay, this enzyme will cause them to convert a lot of their hormones into androgens like testosterone and androstenedione, which can promote a lot of undesirable characteristics, because obviously as females, we don't want women do not want to have an androgen dominance or a testosterone dominance. They're supposed to be estrogen dominant, whereas men are just the opposite. We want to have an androgen dominance there and not be estrogen dominant. And so these fluctuations in women and higher blood sugar and higher insulin really impacts this enzyme and drives its activity, which can promote an over-conversion of the hormones that are there into androgens and throw off the entire system and create a lot of undesirable effects like facial hair growth and blood sugar dysregulation and things like PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Just really poses a lot of potential problems. So when we talk about, in men, this is something that it tends to, they tend to increase an enzyme when there's, let's say, higher blood sugar, which is typically an insulin resistant, overweight, or just tend to have higher blood sugar. Men tend to increase the production of an enzyme called aromatase. And aromatase converts their testosterone into estradiol. And estradiol is one of the estrogens, and they end up having very high rates of this conversion that result in, in them being estrogen dominant versus androgen. And it comes back to addressing what is occurring that's resulting in these enzymes being overly active or at higher quantities. And many, many times it comes back to blood sugar dysregulation. It comes back to diet. And it comes back to inflammation. And sometimes you can have, inflammation is kind of like, it's a very generic term that we use that encompasses a lot of potential problems. And really, a lot of things can drive an inflammatory process. And I work a lot with autoimmunity, very extensively work with autoimmunity. And what we tend to find is that with autoimmunity, there's always this, this secondary inflammation that's occurring. And it can be, due to immune responses to foods or immune responses to bacteria, viral infections, parasites, fungal infections, chemicals in the environment that the immune system's reacting to. And you've just got to look at, there's a lot of potential causes. So it requires, a thorough investigation to really have the best opportunity to try and address that. And if you can address the inflammatory process, then you tend to improve the hormonal sensitivity at the level of the cell, so that the cells are more sensitive to insulin, for example, and so that blood sugar is better regulated. So, these are some of the problems that we see arise just from blood sugar dysregulation. So that's one of the reasons whenever I'm working with people, we always have to focus on and make sure that the foundational basics are there, that there's no blood sugar dysregulation, that there's that the inflammation is being addressed if there's any present, that the person is not anemic and that they can carry and deliver oxygen efficiently. And really, when you start working on some of these basics, you start addressing a lot of the other problems that are really symptoms of more of this dysregulation, or this inflammation. So things like a digestive tract dysfunction. So if someone has inflammation, a lot of times when you're tracking down the inflammation, you find that there's a bacteria or a candida or yeast overgrowth that's in the colon that's driving the gut dysfunction. So sometimes you see that there's a gut problem, and symptomatically you can observe that. And then you start doing some testing, and you learn really quickly that it's actually the problem that you're looking at is actually the inflammatory process is being driven by the gut infection. So you address the gut, and the inflammation comes down. So, lots of good things there. It's just the approach that you need to take has to consider these factors. If you're going to be successful and you're going to really help people improve their health, that's what you got to do. So I just wanted to share that with you guys so that you would better understand how we have to go about approaching and trying to improve our health. So I hope this helps you guys out and understanding that blood sugar is a critical component that cannot be neglected when you're working on improving your hormone function and your hormone levels. So if you have, if you're perimenopausal, menopausal, if you're a menstruating female and you're having a lot of times difficult time with your menstrual cycles, or you're a man who has low testosterone or other issues there, you cannot neglect blood sugar and the things that can impact it. If you do, you're very likely to be chasing symptoms rather than looking at root drivers of the process. And if you want to have true health, you have to get to the root cause. You have to understand and constantly be working to identify what's promoting the process rather than looking at and trying to address a downstream effect. And that's really important. That's not only important for your health, but it's important for your longevity. It's important if you want to have optimal health, and if you want to minimize some of the negative side effects that you commonly see occur with hormonal supplementation. So anyway, I hope this helps you guys better understand the importance of blood sugar. I know I've talked about it before, but it's worth discussing again, especially as it relates to hormones, because so many people are chasing symptoms. And if we're going to really make a difference, we have to get to the root driver of the process. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. I hope this has helped improve your understanding of these problems. And I really look forward to sharing some more information with you guys in the future podcasts. But if you found this helpful and useful, please do go and review our podcast. Help us spread the word, because so many people are suffering needlessly and they don't understand that their answers may be a lot more simple and that there are reasons for the way that they feel and the symptoms that they're having. So sharing this message and trying to help people better understand how to get to the root of the problem is really important to me. And I appreciate you guys sharing and helping us share the word and spending some time with me today while I discuss blood sugar and hormones. Anyway, look forward to talking to you guys again soon. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thanks. Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed hanging out behind the scenes with Dr. Shook. You can also talk with and learn from Dr. Shook through Facebook Live on our Facebook page at the Office of Dr. Brad Shook. Don't forget, you can also get access to our videos, guidebooks, and thyroid programs at www.drbradshook.com. Oh yeah, and don't forget one more thing. We can change the world one person, one family, and one community at a time. Until next time, remember, today is your day, and no one will tell you who you are and what you can be.